Hello friends, I'm here in Huntsville, Alabama, coming live to you. Today I want to share with you a quick update of what's been happening, as well as a little mini session of some general thoughts regarding time management, how we can accomplish more in less time. And so what I've been doing over here in Huntsville, Alabama, I wanted to visit a wellness center over here and to kind of get some ideas of some of the things that they are doing to be able to reach the community and to impact people's health. There are some friends over here that are doing a great work in the community with their wellness center, helping people with consultations and education for the public audience regarding disease, its cause, prevention, and cure. And so I was trying to kind of pick their brains to see the facility, see the layout and the buildings on what exactly are they doing to be able to do this wellness center and kind of understand their business model and how it works. I've learned quite a bit of things. To my surprise, there was also another medical missionary over here that I knew of that travels around the world, and I wasn't expecting him to be here, but we were able to visit together. And for the last 2 days I've really been trying to research a little bit more about Huntsville, Alabama, and the work that they're doing here. I got some questions, some new ideas to take back to California, because I want to do a similar wellness center, alternative health learning center, that people can come, be educated about lifestyle changes, cooking classes, and health and wellness, while at the same time being able to train people how to take part in the health work and to be self-supported in the process, providing services that people can fund for industry for those who are seeking to work in the health field. So I'm very glad about that. Now I am leaving Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm on my way to Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm going to share my testimony at a church this weekend, and on Sunday we're going to do a health meeting at 3 p.m. If you are interested in joining me, it's actually outside of Chattanooga, not too far, just let me know and I'll send you the details. Now for time management, I want to share that time is something that is really interesting, because you look at the people that are very successful in life and who have accomplished these grand things, and you wonder, how is it that with the same 24 hours a day, people are able to ascend into presidency, or to change the world, or to lead entire movements of people in their ability to just impact and make a difference in this world and to make positive change? How could one person do that in a lifetime, and yet another person, they don't amount to very much and they haven't accomplished very much, but they feel like they're always busy, never really getting ahead? What makes the difference? And I realized it is how we manage our time. Time is a talent. This is a resource that, depending on this talent, will determine everything else that we have. The acquirement of property, the acquirement of intellects, of knowledge, of skills, of training, of influence. All of this kind of has a funnel that is dependent upon how we use our time. So there was a few aha moments that I got. One is that time is more valuable than money. I used to spend a lot of time trying to do something myself in order to save a few dollars, thinking that I was doing something good. But once I realized that time is more valuable than money, then instead of working for like 3 hours, $3 an hour, I was thinking, well, what is my time worth? And maybe there's another way. And sometimes we like to major in minor things. We like to spend lots of our time, energy, and focus on minor things that are not going to make a major difference in our lives, or a major difference according to the goals or the mission that God has given to us individually, the calling. So what we need to do is shift our priorities to realize that we want to major in major things and minor in minor things, but we need wisdom to know what is the difference. So understanding that time is more valuable than money, it kind of helps you to realize, so then how can I manage this more effectively? One thing that I would encourage people to do is to plan the day. There was Jesus once said, "No man builds a tower without first sitting down and counting the costs to see if he has sufficient means to be able to finish what he had accomplished." You see, I believe that as leaders, as missionaries, as people who have goals and dreams, often we take on responsibilities before we have time to count the costs and really plan out, is this practical? Am I able to do this? So what we did is our ministry developed a 90-day planner, and we use this. And when we use this, it allows us to kind of see what we're able to do practically in a day. When you plan out what your steps are and what you're going to focus on, your priorities, we call them big rocks for the day that need to be done, you begin to realize that you may have in your mind like 10 big rocks. And then when you write it down, at the end of the day, you only accomplish 3, or the next day you accomplish 4, and you begin to notice a pattern. You start to realize, wait a second, maybe I'm overcommitted. And as leaders, I really believe that our problem is not as much undercommitment as it is overcommitment. So what we need to do is give ourselves permission to sometimes say no. We need to be able to recognize that any time we say yes to anything, that means there's something else that we are saying no to. And in our efforts to not let people down or to not aim higher, sometimes we feel restrained to say no. So instead, we say yes to every responsibility or make commitments, and then we get so overcommitted. But we need to realize when we say yes to these things, that means I'm not able to do something else. So we just need to make sure what we say yes to is really going to help move the mission forward. Because in our efforts to avoid saying no, we end up by saying yes to everything that comes along. We are making commitments that we cannot fill. And what that creates is we end up bearing false witness. People are relying on us. They start to change their day. They plan their schedule. They make decisions based on the resources, the help, the commitment that they have, the skills and talents that you are providing. And then they start ordering their lives based on your commitment. And if you don't really have the time to follow through, then what happens over the long term is you begin to develop a reputation of underperforming, of overcommitted. And though your motives may be well, if you're spread out too thin, or you are not reliable, then God can only use you less, and he starts to withdraw the opportunities. And so it's so essential that if we say yes to something, that we do it. Leaders do what they say they're going to do, and in order to do that, we need to plan. There's an old saying that I found very helpful: if we fail to plan, then we're planning to fail. And I don't know about you, but we don't want to plan to fail. There was another principle that really helped me, is in the book of Proverbs. It says, without a vision, the people perish. One thing I find that if we don't have a mission or a definite aim or purpose, or we're not setting towards a mark that is pressed before us, then we're not going to be, one, motivated to manage our time, or two, we won't exactly know where we're going. The destination is as important as how we get there. We may have the vehicle, we may have the resources, which all of us have 24 hours in a day. We all have the same amount of time, but depending on how far we go in this life will determine on what is the destination, the vision that God has given to us. And so by understanding a clear vision or direction of where we want to go, that is going to help us to be able to plan accordingly. So that is definitely very helpful in terms, so just in review, we want to recognize that time is more valuable than money, and also that we need to plan the day, and we need to have a vision. And when we do these things, they are going to help us to get more accomplished. And what I find, like my mentality at first was I wanted to do as much as I could in the least amount of time, but I realized that was the wrong way of thinking. What I needed to focus on is doing less better. Now, this is a radical shift in people's minds. Many leaders want to take on many things, and we end up really doing very little in all these different things. But if we focus on doing less better, or in other words, doing only those things that you can do and delegate the rest, or doing those things that you can do, recognizing where is your talent, where is your skills, where do you bring the greatest value or the greatest skill to the organization, the mission, the group that you are involved with, the purpose, the vision, and then really focusing in on those areas. It allows people, when delegation is done correctly, it becomes a leadership development strategy. It's giving others the opportunities to use their God-given skills and their talents to increase and to develop and to strengthen. You don't have to do all the presentations, you don't have to do all the speaking, you don't have to do all the working or all the fine-tuning with your hands. As you allow other people, there's usually a guide. I'd say if someone can do it half as good as you with focus and with momentum and desire, give it to them. Just delegate it to them and allow them to do it, because even if you can do it better, if you don't have the time, the ability, the focus, and the drive and passion to do it, you may be passionate, but if you don't have the time and they do have the time to focus, then focus is a very powerful thing, and you will be amazed. They will grow, they will develop their skills, they will increase their talents, and they could exceed your skill and ability if only given the opportunity. Don't be afraid to pass off responsibilities. And as leaders, we want to delegate responsibility, not delegate tasks. Delegating tasks is going to create followers that do what they're told. Delegating responsibility is going to empower leaders to be able to be responsible burden bearers in the cause of God and to move the mission forward. And once we realize that, that is actually a principle of leverage, being able to work together. If we have a similar purpose and vision, then working together we can accomplish far more than we ever could apart. And sometimes we get in this idea in our head that, oh, if it needs to be done right, I need to do it, or nobody wants to do this. And honestly, if this is the premise that we're going to be operating on, if we think that nobody's interested in helping, then we're going to find that very few people are interested in helping. But I would challenge you, there are more people who want to do something, anything. They're just waiting for an opportunity. And if you are willing to give them that opportunity, then you will be amazed at what can be accomplished together. There's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And if you follow these principles, these are just some general principles of time management. I hope that these things can be a blessing to you and immediately implemented. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below. But I especially want to ask you, in doing these live videos, as you've seen, I want to do more of them. I want to keep you updated a little bit better. And I would like to know, what are some subjects, what are some topics that you would like to see in these live videos? Let me know in the comment section. Send me a private message, and I will make a list. I'll consider these things and pray, and I want to know, how can I best serve you based on my experience or the things that the Lord has shared with me. How can I share with you? Let me know if this was valuable. Share it with your friends. Tag people in the comments. Let them know. Comment, like, sad face, whatever it is, you can share. But I hope that this video has shed more light on your walk with God. Please keep me in prayers as I'm traveling, and there's really been a lot of divine appointments, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the future. All right, God bless everyone.